bushfire season is upon us as the days get colder. And back in March and April, I started spending time by the wood fire oven, finishing the preserving of the fruit and vegetables from our garden. The fruit harvests this season have been amazing, and we've managed to put away many jars of apples, pears, plums, and nashis. We have had a huge harvest of apples this year. We've counted over 70 kilograms of apples, which I've dried, bottled, and I'm storing the rest in the fridge for eating fresh. We have 50 different varieties of apples on our farm, but not all of them fruited this year. Some of the trees were pruned back hard, and some are older trees that produce a lot of fruit. The cockatoos were our biggest apple pest. They come down and tear the apples apart to only eat the pips. I ended up netting a few of the apple rows, but each morning I'd wake early with the dogs to check the bird situation. If there were any birds out there on the trees, the dogs quickly scared them away. To bottle the apples, I cored them and diced them into pieces. In the past, I have peeled the apples too, but I don't like peeling anything as a lot of the nutrients lies directly under the skin of fruit and vegetables. I happened upon another preserver saying that they don't peel their fruit either, and it doesn't hurt the preserving process. It's more a texture thing. So I've left all the skins on the fruit I've bottled this time around. While I cut them up, I put them in a lemon water mixture to keep them from browning. I've learnt a few techniques during this preserving season on how to better the preserving in the Fowler's bottles. One is to wet the rings before putting them on the bottles and to place them on before adding the ingredients into the jars. These instructions are on the packets of the rings, but not in the old instruction booklet that I inherited. So perhaps this is a newer instruction than when the book was written. The second thing I've changed in my process is to hold down the lids on the bottles for 10 seconds after taking them out of the water bathing unit. I feel these two actions have really helped with the sealing rate of my bottles and also help when I'm using old rings. With these bottles of apples, we will either heat them up and eat them as they are, or make a crumble or a pie with them, or just eat them as stewed fruit, which is one of our favourite ways of eating them. We harvested over 35 kilograms of prune plums, which we love eating fresh, but 32 kilos is a lot of plums. So we did dry a lot of them, and we've got our own dried prunes in the pantry for us to eat over the winter time. I also ended up bottling a whole heap of them. We will make pies and crumbles with these plums. Although heating them up in some of the sugar syrup they are bottled in and having them with custard or yogurt is another way we enjoy eating these plums.
experience of living off-grid has been an up and down one. It's not a carefree experience, that's for sure. But BLUETTI has lessened our stress now with the Fridge Power unit, which is a backup power source for our fridge and freezer. If our solar system goes down, our fridge will still have power now that we have this unit plugged into our fridge freezer. A power outage can ruin a fridge and freezer full of food. And although I've bottled a lot of my food to store in the pantry this year, I've actually frozen more this year than I have in any other previous year. BLUETTI's fridge power is so well thought out. It's slim and simple and easy to install and run. It's a really well-built backup system that kicks in as soon as it detects the power going out. And when the power does come back on, it will switch to charging and then it will be on standby for the next time the power fails. This is a new system for BLUETTI. They have some really good deals with the core unit and then with the backup batteries as well, with their Kickstarter that they are running at the moment. I've linked their site in the description below, and you can scroll down to the Choose the Backup Plan section to see the prices, and then you can read all about the system and how it will benefit you. It's been great having this unit as part of our system here. And now when we go away for a weekend, we can be assured that the contents of our fridge and freezer will be safe.
Using a lot of water to water bath these bottles of produce doesn't bother me, as I reuse the water to wash the dishes. It actually works out well, as hot water can be hard to have for dishes when living off-grid and having a household of 5 people who enjoy hot showers. We rely on the solar in the summertime and the wood fire oven for most of autumn, all of winter and most of spring to heat our water. So having hot water to use from the water bathing unit is amazing. I usually need to boil the electric or the wood stove kettles to get hot water for washing dishes. For the first time, I bottled nashis. I've never done this before, as I've always thought of nashis being too watery to bottle, but I just bottled them in the same way I've bottled the apples and the plums, by making a sugar syrup, and they've actually worked out really well. So I won't be afraid to bottle nashis. And I have searched and looked and found some other people out there who have bottled them as well, and they've turned out just fine, which is fantastic because we always have a huge amount of nashis. This year I tallied around 55 kilos of nashis, and that's just from one tree. I made a pie filling for the nashis for the first time this year. It's great to have some pie filling ready to go. All I need to do is make the pastry whenever we want to make a pie. I got this recipe from Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead. To make the pie goo, I added 9.5 cups of water with 4.5 cups of sugar, 1 cup of arrowroot powder, a 1/4 cup of lemon juice, a sprinkle of cinnamon, and a little salt. I heated the mix on the stove, then let it cool a little bit before adding it over the chopped nashi pieces in the jars. I filled 9 of the number 31 Fowler's jars with this amount of pie filling. bottled up some passata I made in the Thermomix, which I did for the first time last year. It's an easy recipe to do and uses the whole tomato. There's no skinning or de-seeding the tomatoes. As I mentioned, all that nutrients under the skin and in the skin and seeds of the fruit. I want to use the entire fruit and vegetable. As recommended by Fowler's, I'm using a small amount of citric acid in my tomato bottling. This helps keep them stable for long-term shelf life. Most of the tomatoes I bottled and froze this year were whizzed in the Thermomix and put in containers into the freezer or water bathed in some smaller jars. I've also frozen some whole tomatoes. I'm currently ripening the rest of the tomato harvest in the windowsill. They've been ripening every day, and I've been storing the ripened tomatoes in the fridge, waiting to do the last batch of sauce. I've also been making the most of the last of the fresh tomatoes by making salads and doing a few cherry tomato focaccias as well. I'm so grateful to have these bottles filled with fruit to use throughout the winter. It's not been easy this year to get all this beautiful produce we've grown bottled. It's been a bit back-breaking this year with my health, but it's over now until next year, and I will be in a better condition by then. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a lovely weekend. See you again in my next video. Take care, my friends.